You're listening to the Resilient Fertility Podcast, a space where we explore the intersection of food and culture on the journey to motherhood. I'm Anisa Woodall, a holistic certified nutritionist and mother of 2 adventurous boys. Join me as I guide you on how to reconnect with your innate wisdom, develop a growth mindset, and harness the power of food and habit to embody the mother your child needs you to be. Whether you're planning to become a mother, trying to conceive, or are already a mother, you'll find valuable insights and practical tips to enhance your fertility and optimize your pregnancy. Tune in every other week for thoughtful and informative conversations about the power in your hands on your journey to motherhood.
So I tore my hamstring about 6 months ago, and it's still not 100% healed. I was sprint racing in the Bahamas with my husband, and I felt a snapping rubber band-like pop in the back of my leg, followed by an immediate inability to walk. For about an hour, my mind spiraled into a victim mindset. I've finally been feeling consistent and strong. Why is this happening to me now? Was something that I was thinking. Or I was just telling my husband how my legs are finally looking strong again. Or how am I going to chase after 2 active kids when I can't even walk? But then I immediately reframed my mindset to one that I developed through experience after my last life-altering injury, which I'll tell you about in a few minutes. But you're probably wondering, why am I telling you about this? So here we go. In today's episode, I want to show you how I learned how to take control of my mindset when it comes to experiencing life's tests and the mindset shift it takes to accept timelines that are different than yours, or rather the ones that you've set for yourself. But first, I want to see if you can relate to this in some way. Perhaps you're realizing that the plans you had set up for yourself are not really unfolding the way that you thought. Maybe you're struggling to find the right father for your future children. You may be feeling your biological clock ticking as you're looking for the man who is truly father material. Side note, if you haven't listened to my episode, Father Material, Finding Your Partner for Parenthood, go and listen to that episode to learn more about what red flags and green flags to keep an eye out for when it comes to finding your best match. But you may be feeling like your time is running out to find your perfect husband. And worse than that, the thought of your declining fertility keeps you up at night, making you wonder, will I even be able to get pregnant once I do find the one? One of the biggest mistakes I see women approaching their 40s or already in their 40s making when it comes to fertility is waiting until it is too late to take the steps to restore and preserve their egg health. What do I mean by that? There are far too many women who say, I need this when they find out about my work in supporting women to optimally prepare for pregnancy and to conceive naturally. But then they wait to take action until they find the one or decide to freeze their eggs. Then when they do find the one, they're in a rush to conceive, like yesterday. That taking the time to prepare for conception seems like a luxury and not a necessity. And I see the same with people who schedule a egg freezing appointment, egg retrieval appointment, and then they schedule with me and say, hey, I'm going to freeze my eggs in 1 month. What can I do to improve my egg health? And I almost laugh. I'm like, well, good luck. I want so badly to help you in this place, but there's not enough time to be able to make change naturally, right? So don't sit in these feelings of worry. Those feelings of worry are there for a reason. Let those worries fuel action. So stop waiting until you find the one to start taking steps to improve your fertility. Egg quality is the primary reason why more mature women are unable to conceive. And yes, your egg quality does decline with age, but with the appropriate steps, you can extend your reproductive longevity. However, the majority of natural steps you can take to improve your egg quality will take a bare minimum of 6 months and ideally 1 year for best outcomes. It's time to really stop worrying and start working to preserve your fertility. And the best part of the entire process of preparing for conception will make you a better and healthier mom when the time comes. So if you're feeling your biological clock ticking, you're probably asking yourself, is it really too late? Am I too old to get pregnant? Do I need to freeze my eggs? What are the signs that my fertility is declining? And how can I improve my chances of getting pregnant faster? So If you are asking yourself these questions, then stay tuned for my upcoming offer for those of you who are wrestling with this reality of aging fertility, because there is so much more power in your hands to prevent fertility aging and to extend your reproductive longevity. So join the waitlist in the show notes to stay tuned for my upcoming offer to help you keep your eggs in tip-top shape so that you can all be ready as possible when the time is right. All right, so moving on from the topic of aging fertility, maybe you are struggling with another timeline. Maybe you're struggling with your health and you fear your ability to conceive when you're ready. You recognize that your hormone symptoms are not normal, and you're realizing that they may be directly intertwined with your other health challenges that you're experiencing, whether it be problems with digestion like SIBO or IBS or IBD or celiac. It might be problems with mood, right? Depression, anxiety, or even more. Histamine intolerance, autoimmunity, low energy, and even a lack of appetite or sugar cravings. These are all indications your body is, for lack of a better word, performing suboptimally. And anytime your body is overstressed, underproducing energy, or it is redirecting its precious resources elsewhere to put out a more urgent fire in your body, unfortunately, sex hormone production and reproductive preparation goes on the back burner. So listen to those sirens your body is sounding and heed its call to take action to achieve balance. If you are actively hoping to conceive, but you're struggling to get that positive pregnancy test, you may be wondering where things are going wrong. You're starting to think high school sex ed was just a big joke because they say you can get pregnant any day of your cycle, and it actually requires a little bit more than just having as much sex as you can. Or maybe you're already pregnant, but you're struggling with intense pregnancy symptoms that you weren't prepared for, or you're approaching 42 weeks with the mysterious question of, when will my baby choose to be born? So you may be asking some of these questions like I did when I had this injury. Why me? Why not now? Or why now, depending on what it is. And what's wrong with me? Though the struggle may be very real and very valid, the feeling of struggling is a choice. And that's what I want to be talking about in this episode with you today. So I'm going to be sharing about this a little bit more in a few minutes. I'm going to be sharing a story of when I was preparing to conceive my first child. So to give some background to where I was at the time, I had a very clear timeline in my head. My husband and I had gotten married when I was in college. I was going to finish my bachelor's in nutrition and exercise science, complete my master's in clinical nutrition and dietetics. I was going to get established in my work with a stable job for a minimum of a year. Check, check, check. I did all of those, right? All according to plan. Everything was going according to plan, or so I thought. We were 4 years into our marriage, and I started to feel this really strong urge to become a mother. I began to feel this empty feeling on my chest, the literal absent weight of my future baby. The longing to have this weight on my chest started to grow with each cycle. So my husband and I had begun preparing to conceive, literally doing all the things and more that I teach in my preconception course, Resilient Motherhood. I say and more because there were a lot of things that I actually didn't need to be doing. And so I've refined those for you. But then one day in February, my brother and I had gone out snowboarding for his birthday, and I had a freak accident. It had rained the night before, the snow froze over. Front of my snowboard hit a block of ice that looked like pure powder. And if you've snowboarded or skied before, you know that when you go into powder, it feels really smooth and you can kind of ease into it. Well, that was not the case this time. Because it was a block of ice that looked like powder, when the front of my board hit it, my knees stopped and my board stopped while all my momentum continued forward. I screamed so loud. It hurt so bad, but nowhere near as bad as when I tore some ligaments in my knee playing high school soccer. So I definitely thought, hey, I'll sled down on my board, take a little break, and then we can go back up. Well, the joke was on me, guys, because I couldn't walk for 4 months. I had an extreme bone bruise on my tibial plateau. which led me to not even being able to put any weight on my leg for a minimum of 4 months. And slowly, I was able to walk with a cane after that 4 months, but it wasn't for about a year that I was actually completely pain-free. So what did this mean for my conception journey, right? That desire to have a baby was still there. And I was now starting to wrestle with, like, my timeline is now upset, right? It is now not going according to plan when everything was going according to plan before. What do I do now? And I started to freak out, right? There was no way that I wanted to be pregnant while being injured. I knew that to have a healthy pregnancy, I needed to stay active and I wanted to be strong and mobile for birth. And of course, it's not like motherhood requires any less strength, right? I use all of my strength every day, sprinting every day. So during that journey, I felt so much grief. Grief for the shift in what my motherhood journey would look like with no end in sight. Really, how could I keep my hopes up? I started to fall into this really deep depression. I started to let myself soak in the victimhood and sit in the struggle for days, for weeks, months. On my own conception journey, this sudden injury delayed our plans to conceive for a year, like I said. While acknowledging that this kind of delay is different from actually struggling to conceive, I do want to find common ground with the feelings of uncertainty and the fear of navigating the unknown when it comes to accepting timelines that are ours. You probably have a clear vision of how you wanted your life to be at this point. And when that timeline is disrupted, delayed, or looks differently than you dreamed of, it can be disheartening to say the least. One of the biggest perspective shifts for me during my own time of healing that moved me from this place of victimhood to surrendering to the journey was to change my internal self-talk. Asking these questions may be helpful when you too find yourself feeling victim to your situation. So questions like, as frustrating and as challenging as this may be, what is in this for me to learn, to grow, and improve from? What lessons can I learn from these roadblocks? I am still strong, capable, and worthy of taking care of myself, even if put in the blank may look a little different right now. Just because I'm experiencing XYZ doesn't mean I can't XYZ, right? Taking steps to improve your fertility. What can I do to be even more ready for when God's timing aligns with my internal readiness? That's a big one. And the last one, can I allow myself to be truly happy despite experiencing tests in life? So feeling a victim to your diagnosis, to your situation, to your life stage can be an important part of the journey, right? You may be thinking, wait, what? Didn't you just say to come out of victimhood? I'm saying letting yourself experience that can be an important part of the journey because you need duality in life, right? To experience true joy, you have to know what true depression feels like. But trust me, when you approach life's tests from a growth mindset, moving out of victimhood and into empowered surrender can be so mentally and spiritually freeing. The experience of waiting, facing the unknown, and navigating unexpected delays can help you to cultivate resilience, patience, and an enhanced sense of self-awareness. Only you allow yourself to receive those gifts. And for me, the gifts, in addition to these virtues that I've been able to cultivate, has also been having more time to prepare more optimally for my dream baby, having more time to spend with my husband, just the two of us. Now, of course, there is some grieving to be had the longer that you're going without a child and you want to have that child with your husband. But of course, there will always be silver linings in the experience and areas for growth, right? Another benefit that I experienced was getting to listen to thousands of more birth stories during that time to really refine my approach and my mental state going into birth and motherhood. I started to read books about parenting, right? There was so much preparation that I was able to go through and wisdom that I was able to gain before becoming a mother that helped me to enter into motherhood with so much confidence, with so much clarity and so much ease that when the time was right for us to conceive, I was able to conceive as soon as I was ready, right? The first cycle we tried, I got pregnant. Not saying that you have to, but I took that time to balance my hormones optimally, to completely replenish my nutrient stores after previously being vegetarian. I knew exactly when my fertile days were. I knew exactly when I was going to be ovulating. I knew when I was delayed in my ovulation, as I've shared in episode 14, how skipping meals may be impacting your ovulation. When I was observing the Baha'i fast and my ovulation was delayed, how to adjust our conception efforts to be able to conceive that cycle anyway. Learning to practice this mental discipline has served me so many times on my journey through motherhood, because there will be things that will happen that will be out of your control. But it's 100% up to you how you respond and how you allow those events to affect your mental state and thus your physiology. So if you find yourself resonating with this approach to facing fertility challenges or your timelines that you've set for yourself, they're not matching where you're at, and you're seeking guidance and support on your fertility journey, I encourage you to enroll in my online fertility course and my coaching program through Resilient Motherhood. Together, we can work on interpreting your body's fertility signals, formulating your unique preconception mindset, diet, and lifestyle, and navigating the uncertainties with a supportive community. Remember, you're not alone, and through growth and learning, you can prepare yourself for an optimal transition to motherhood without having to rely on fertility treatments and medications, and really in full trust in your body. Every fertility journey is unique, and it's okay to acknowledge the challenges and the uncertainties that you may face. By embracing a growth mindset and viewing hardships as opportunities for learning and personal development, you can find strength, resilience, and a renewed sense of hope, because there is hope. If you're finding yourself stuck in the struggle and lost with what is actually going to be moving the needle when it comes to optimizing your fertility, this is where Resilient Motherhood comes in. Take the first step towards nourishing yourself physically and emotionally by enrolling in Resilient Motherhood, because together we can pave the way for a healthier and more easeful path to motherhood when your time is right. If you're ready to take radical responsibility and move out of victimhood and do what's in your power to heal your hormones, nourish your fertility, and claim motherhood for yourself, then I am here for you to guide you on this journey. And now it's your turn. Restore your fertility, conceive naturally with confidence, and grow your healthy baby. If you want to learn more about how you can support your fertility, check out my free masterclass, Unlock Your Fertility: How to Transform Your Habits for Optimal Pregnancy Success. And if you're ready to have my step-by-step strategy for how to personalize your own preconception protocol so you can conceive your dream baby on your own timeline, it's time for you to join me in Resilient Motherhood. Click the link in the show notes to join. I hope to see you there. Thank you so much for listening today. I really do appreciate you choosing to spend this time with me. If you gained value from today's episode, I'd love if you can act in reciprocity and share this episode with a friend. Screenshot your favorite part to share on your social media, tagging me at Anisa Woodall Nutrition, and leave a review in Apple Podcasts. This serves me to expand my reach of connecting with women who need this medicine. I'll see you on the next one. I hope you already know, but for legal purposes, I need to share that this podcast is for general informational and educational purposes only and does not constitute the giving of medical advice. The use of this information and the materials linked to this podcast are at the user's own risk. Each user is responsible for making their own decisions when it comes to their reproductive health. Remember, you are always the sole authority over your health, and if your case requires medical attention, use your own discretion to ensure that your needs are met.